Dick Cheney will be voting for Kamala Harris.
Last Friday, former Vice President Dick Cheney and former Senator Liz Cheney, obviously both Republicans, revealed that they will in fact be voting for Kamala Harris. And you heard a little bit of that endorsement in the clip we just showed you. Now, Kamala Harris has taken these endorsements as cause for celebration, which is concerning to say the least. Let me be generous to the Democratic Party and not lose my mind over this yet, but I'll give you more details. So we should also note that Dick Cheney issued a statement regarding his endorsement, saying that in our nation's 248-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He tried to, by the way, I mean, you should take a good hard look at the administration you served in, but I'll continue. He tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him. He can never be trusted with power again, said Dick Cheney, who has absolutely no self-awareness. There's more. As citizens, we each have a duty to put country above partisanship, to defend our Constitution. That is why I will be casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. And here's how Harris, well, before we get to how Harris reacted to it, Cenk, what are your thoughts? Are you elated over neocon warmongers and war criminals like the Cheneys supporting Kamala Harris?
Nah, it's a terrible development. And the fact that the Democrats are excited by it just shows you everything that's wrong with the Democratic Party. That's Dick Cheney, who, by the way, left office with a 9% approval rating. What are you guys celebrating? He's one of the most hated politicians in our lifetime. He's the guy who brought torture back. He's the one that did all of the lies and orchestrated the totally needless war in Iraq that got hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians killed, let alone our soldiers, let alone the trillions we wasted on his friends and corrupt colleagues at Halliburton with the no-bid contracts, etc. But you want to talk about stealing an election. Now, he's right that Donald Trump tried to steal an election because a broken clock can be right twice a day. I get it. But I saw you guys steal the 2000 election with my own eyes.
We don't talk about that. Memory hole, memory hole. Yeah. Quick, Democrats, memory hole, memory hole.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it. So in 2000, not only did Al Gore win the popular vote, but after the Supreme Court said, we don't care about states' rights, Florida, you are to stop counting right now. Don't count the votes, okay? Later, because the votes existed, the press organizations counted the votes, and it turned out if you counted all the votes in Florida, no matter how you counted them, undervotes, overvotes, it didn't matter, hanging chads, nothing mattered. Al Gore had won the state of Florida. He actually won the Electoral College, but Fox News helped Dick Cheney and George Bush steal that election. Now he's pretending to be a savior of democracy, and the Democrats are like, bravo, the savior of democracy, Dick Cheney has ridden to the rescue. God, you guys don't know anything about politics. The country hates this guy. You're wrong on principle and you're wrong on politics.
If Kamala Harris were smart about this endorsement, she would do everything in her power to speak to the Cheneys and encourage them to not go public. Please don't endorse me, and if you're gonna vote for me, great, I appreciate it, but you had a 9% approval rating. Everyone hated you for good reason, okay? But that's not what happened. Let's take a look at how Kamala Harris reacted to the endorsement last week.
What do you think? I'm honored to have their endorsement, and I think that what they both, as leaders who are well respected, are making an important statement that it's okay, and if not important, to put country above party. And I'm honored to have their support, and I think it's an important statement right now. A lot of what I think is happening, and I was just talking with some folks here in Pittsburgh about it, is that people are exhausted about the division and the attempts to kind of divide us as Americans. And them stepping up to make this public statement, I think, is courageous, but also for people like the folks I was just talking with, it really reinforces for them that we love our country and we have more in common than what separates us.
No, Kamala, you're not getting it, okay? People are exhausted from the division among ordinary voters. In fact, we would like more division among the politicians because we're not getting enough of that. The idea that we need unity between Bush-era neocon Republicans and the Democratic Party is laughable to me. And what's amazing is you have Donald Trump who's like throwing a hissy fit over the Cheneys not endorsing him. They did you a favor, Trump. I wish they would have done that favor to Kamala Harris and the Democrats, but the Democrats, open arms. Memory hole the Bush era, memory hole the war crimes, memory hole the torture, the warrantless wiretapping, the lies that got us into that war in Iraq in the first place. Ignore all of that because we share an enemy and our enemy is Donald Trump. So as long as we share that enemy, let's launder the reputations of some of the worst people in this country, including the Cheneys.
I'm going to tell you why, because this is the interesting part in my opinion. First, I'm going to give a shout out to one of our members on Twitch. Felicity91 said, Dick Cheney is the biggest warmonger ever. This isn't a good thing. This man hasn't changed his ways.
Criminal, war criminal.
Yeah, so that's obvious to anyone who is paying attention. And thank you for writing in. Become a member, hit the join button below, be part of the show. Now, look, why did the Democrats, the establishment, et cetera, hate Donald Trump so much, but they don't mind Dick Cheney? So like I can understand having deep problems with both, but I can't understand not minding Dick Cheney, right? And then you look at MSNBC's rundown and it's filled with former Republicans and Bush officials. So Michael Steele was the head of the RNC during Bush. Nicole Wallace was his communications director, chief propagandist.
Bill Kristol.
Right, Bill Kristol, et cetera, are all there as contributors. And people now think that the left-wing position is former Republicans who are neocons and love corporate power.
No, thank you.
So
no, thank you.
And they didn't even notice. So this is what drives me crazy about politics too. Like George H.W. Bush's foreign policy was 100% the opposite of George W. Bush's policy. Their son and father, obviously both president, their foreign policy is exactly opposite, and no one in mainstream media noticed. It's just amazing. Anyway, but back to the Democrats and why they don't mind Dick Cheney as much. Because for corporate Democrats and corporate Republicans, as long as everyone is feeding this system and the establishment wins as a class, they're happy. The rest is just theater. Good cop, bad cop. Oh my God, they are so bad. I cannot believe they cut taxes. Oh, I cannot believe they invaded another country and the defense contractors got billions of dollars. Oh, golly gee. Oh, so did the oil companies. They don't mind any of that because their entire class is winning. But for Trump, like this is why right now he's leading. Because everyone thinks the establishment hates him, so he must be the populist good guy. But they don't ask, why does the establishment hate him? The establishment hates him not because he's standing up to them and fighting for the little guy. They hate him because he's only stealing on his own behalf. Whereas Dick Cheney, George Bush, and the others were stealing on behalf of the upper class. So they're saying Trump is also a thief and a liar, but he's too selfish. He should be sharing with the rest of the upper class, and he's not. So that's why they hate Trump. Not because he's stealing, not because he's a liar, not because of his bad policies. In fact, remember the thing that they said they hated the most, kids in cages, the immigration policies, the terrible immigration policies of Trump. They just tried to pass Trump's immigration policies. They don't hate him based on policy or content. They hate him because he won't share the loot. So they're both criminals, they both steal tremendous amounts of money. Dick Cheney and Donald Trump is that Cheney helps everyone else steal it too in the upper class.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. And it's shameful that Democrats would be welcoming toward neocon Republicans who, I mean, the whole reason why I got involved in political news is because I was growing up at a time when our civil liberties were being violated, when our men and women in our armed services were being sent to multiple deployments to Iraq, a war that we should not have been in. And then they were being neglected once they came home and had severe mental health issues, including PTSD, as a result of those multiple deployments. The idea that we should be welcoming to people like Dick Cheney is just disgusting and shameful. And it's sad that this is where the Democratic Party is. Because Donald Trump will break everyone's brains and will forget everything that happened in recent history in order to attempt to defeat him. But I don't think this helps in attempting to defeat him. I don't think a Cheney endorsement for Kamala Harris is a net positive.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.